Ay, ay, ay. They just, they just aren't getting it. They just are not learning. They are just continuing to play victim. Welcome back, everybody. It's your pal Orange Hay, here to bring you another video. So, apparently, the Acolyte Jodie Turner-Smith, is unhappy with Star Wars series cancellation. Hopes fans stop having a stick up their butt about people of color being a part of IPs that were created by white people. So she's apparently believes that people have a problem with black people or people of color or whatever being in a show or movies that had black people in them before she ever was a part of it. And she seems to think that people never embrace them. But that's just the title. Let's get into the article. Shout out to Spencer Backley from Bounding into Comics for this article. Not only is the Acolyte actor Jodie Turner-Smith generally unhappy about Star Wars series swift cancellation, but she also appears to believe that a majority of the criticism leveled towards its widely panned existence was based heavily, if not solely, in racism. Turner-Smith, whose character of Mother Anastasia, the power of one, power of two, power of many thing, that woman who was stabbed for doing something unknown and then played victim and whatnot. Bad writing. Appeared in the series as both the leader of the Deuteragonists, May and Osha. Deuteragonists, okay, like that one. May and Osha's resident witch coven and the twins' virgin birth mother expressed her disappointment towards the Acolyte's reception during a recent interview with Glamour UK's Iona Murray. I'm guessing that's an I, not an L. Yeah. Amidst a general discussion regarding her recent career moves, such as her time portraying the role of Gracie the Dragon Queen in Apple TV Plus series Bad Monkey, and her current experience filming Showtime's upcoming British spy thriller The Agency, itself a remake of a French series Le Bureau. The actress eventually turned to the topic of the Acolyte, to which she began by recalling how upon first meeting series lead Amanda Stenberg, the young woman gave her a full-blown essay regarding her own personal take on the inner lives of the series' characters. I've never worked with anybody who's handed me an essay on their character. The Virgo in me was just like, yes, I'm living for this. I'm sorry, but if I see YASS, I'm going SJW voice. However, her excitement would ultimately be short-lived, as have now broached the subject, pardon my misspeaking, folks, problem up here. As having now broached the subject of her time in a galaxy far, far away, Turner-Smith would recall Stenberg put so much character and thought and love into that. And it's disappointing to feel like your studio is not having your back in a very public-facing way. Really? How is that? I mean, are you not an adult? Are you not able to handle criticisms? Did your parents not teach you the valuable lessons of disappointment? I mean, those are all very important lessons that a person should learn, especially if they are going to go into the world and have a lot of ups and downs, which is all a part of life. To this end, the actress then called on Disney to stop doing this where they don't say anything when people are getting effing dogpiled on the internet with racism and bullshit. It's just not fair to not say anything. It's really unfair. Disney was always claiming racism over the criticisms of the Acolyte. Disney always says that shit. Where the fuck have you been? No offense, but where the fuck have you been? It's just not fair to say anything. It's really unfair. Life isn't fair. What, you think that just because you're an actress makes you invulnerable to criticism? No, that opens you to public criticism. Because you are a public figure. A celebrity. But continuing. It would just be nice if the people that have all the money were showing their support and putting their feet down, Jodie Turner-Smith further lamented, saying, this is unacceptable. You're not a fan if you do this. Oh, really? Do what, exactly? Because now you're frickin' saying that I'm not a fan of Star Wars. I've been a fan of Star Wars since I was 2 fucking years old. When I first saw the movies on a VHS tape on my dad's living room floor while I watched it on TV. 2 years old. And yes, my memory is that good. Long term, that is. Short term memory is shot to shit. But anyway, making a really big statement. And just see if any money leaves. I bet you it won't. Because people of color, and especially black people, make up a very large percentage of buying power. They might find that it's actually more lucrative for them. But everyone's using woke like it's a dirty word. Well, woke isn't a dirty word. It was misappropriated into a dirty practice. She continued, opinions change. What's in vogue changes. We're going to get there at some point, to that place where people stop having a stick up their arse about people of color being a part of an IP that were created by white people. You know why? Because we're never going to effing stop participating. Nobody said you hadn't, or nobody said you couldn't participate. Honestly. And if they have, because reality does dictate that there are a few of those idiots out there, if they have, well, they're in the wrong, but also they're less than 1%. So, we don't get to fall upwards, say that to Kamala Harris, like a lot of white men. Oh, you mean like Joe Biden up the stairs? Just feel that some people are allowed to grow and others have to be perfect. And if they're not perfect, even when it's great, people want to effing tear it apart. Nobody's perfect. Reality check. Signed with the amount of grow up. Anastasia Jodie Turner-Smith meets her end in the blade. And that's the end of the thing. Well, here's the thing. You know what I'm sick of? I'm sick of a good number of the black community. Mostly, not all, mind you. I mean, there's a lot of black people that I know. Dimanche and I, Gospel, according to Mark with a C, Lorena Creel, and many others who don't play the victim card narrative. But the fact that you all keep doing it, and the fact that you all keep pushing this bullshit narrative, frankly, it's insulting to the memory of Martin Luther King Jr. Now, yes, I'm white, and I'm talking about Martin Luther King Jr. because I was actually raised on his outlook of where you judge a person not by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. Now, when I did my objective analysis of The Acolyte, you can look at my weekly recaps in which I discussed The Acolyte with my friend Nerd with a Cigar, Kate. you will notice that I gave objective analysis. Yes, I gave a little bit of subjective points here and there to talk about a few things, but still, I had objective analysis for the show itself. You want to know what I didn't say? I never once said that the show was terrible because it had people of color in it. I never once said that the show was terrible because it had sexual orientations that were not heterosexual. Not once did I say that the Asian protagonist was terrible because he was Asian. No, there was no racism in my critiques. There was no racism in all the other critiques that I have seen personally. I mean, there are those who are a bit more hyperbolic with the whole scissoring lesbian things. But you know what? I'm not one that actually prescribed to that kind of way of critiquing things. I prefer to look at things objectively. And when I do that, you have honestly no argument, because you are unable to counter what is true coming from an objective standpoint of how the camera or the lighting or the writing or the acting or the performance or the story. When you give objective criticisms, when you look at how this doesn't match up with this, how this could be a little bit better, how this was actually interesting but still flawed, you have no battle when you are constantly crying racism and bigotry. No, you would only look, well, you're a white boy saying that. And then you expose your own bigotry. You see, Martin Luther King was very much ahead of his time and had perfect aspirations of not judging people by the color of their skin and only by the content of their character. Growing up in a world where that actually existed in the 90s, for me, yes, there was racism here and there. Yes, I was a kid, so I wouldn't have looked up the 92 LA riots and stuff, but I do not discount the fact that there was racism. However, in the 2020s and the 2010s, there was a very big rise of people who were racist against white people. So yes, I myself have experienced it. And I know how black people feel when it comes to racism. Hell, I was beaten down physically because I was white. But hey, I don't really talk about that a lot because, well, it would destroy a narrative. But anyway, folks, getting back to the topic here, she's constantly screaming bigotry, playing victim. This is all that the Acolyte cast are capable of doing, because no offense to minorities, when you have a bunch of minorities who are used to playing a professional victim with their egos, that's all they'll ever do when they have the slightest bit of criticism, including objective criticism. They can't handle it. That is why I have tried reasoning with some people who do the hyperbole. Take a step back, look at it objectively. They have no ammo then. If you deplete them of the ammunition, which is the claims of racism and bigotry, with the hyperbolic criticisms that most people give, well, then maybe they will actually lose steam. But, you know, I'm only a channel with 1,500 subscribers, working on 1,600, but I'm only a small channel compared to many of them. So they're not really going to care what a smaller channel thinks. So anyway, folks, that's going to be my thoughts on this. Jodie Turner-Smith is a professional victim. She likes to push the narrative of racism and bigotry simply because people didn't like the Acolyte. The problem with the Acolyte was that it destroyed lore, continuity of the movies, and the lore connected to even Disney lore. You also destroyed characters that were already established. You see, Ki-Adi-Mundi, despite the birthday change, alright, take that out. Why is he a Jedi Master? When in episode 1, he was on the Jedi Council, yes, but he was a Jedi Knight in episode 1, The Phantom Menace. So what did Ki-Adi-Mundi do to get busted down from Master to Knight? I don't think they do that in the Jedi Order. So, yeah. But anyway, folks, that's going to be the video. You all know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe, share, all that jazz. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. What do you think of her playing professional or being a professional victim again? Or do you think that maybe she's right? Maybe people need to stop being racist simply for not liking a show. Let me know all your thoughts, folks. This has been Orange Chat. Y'all have a wonderful day. And always remember, stay humble, because that's how you defeat narcissism.